that done. Oh my God! Yay! Harsha Bhogle is here. Okay, so now that you're here, I have to do the big introduction, okay? Because I've been preparing like all day. So guys, my guest for today is the voice of triumph for an entire generation of cricketing fans, which is all of us really. So if you grew up watching cricket and if you're a fan of Sachin Tendulkar and Rahul Dravid and Saurav Ganguly and Dhoni and all of these guys, everything you cheered for had this voice in the background. So this is the voice of like cheering and triumph for us for decades. This is like in my head, and it's such an amazing, you know, it's such a pickup to have this conversation with you today. So thank you for making time and for joining me on this.
Thank you, Faye. I'm normally a little nervous being with high-profile news anchors, but a couple of things. I love how you very gently let it slip that been around for decades. Very nice to tell people how old I am, and the voice on all major events. You know what? It was that Ravi that picked me all the time. Every time the big event was Ravi on air, I told him once, I said, if there's one thing I'm jealous of, it's that you always got the big ones to call. But nah, it's good fun. When you've been around for a while, you get, yeah, I've been lucky to have had some big moments, yeah.
No, but you know, I associate your voice with like happy things, with sort of like victory and with jubilation. So it's really nice to hear your voice at this point.
It is. I mean, we've got no reason to be unhappy, Faye, because you're watching sport, you're watching great achievements, you're watching hardworking people struggle and succeed. Sport is beautiful. Yeah. It's tough not to be happy in sport.
Well, you know, I've been having a series of conversations with people on how to get through where we are right now. Now, we've never actually been through anything like this anywhere in the world. So there's no precedent. There's no learning really that we can refer back to. We have to just refer to what each of us knows. And I know that you've spent a lot of time examining what the game or what sports teaches us and how we can apply that to life and how we can apply that to, you know, the things that life throws at us. So is there, I mean, is there something that we can apply to what's going on right now?
Look, truth be told, sport is just one of the many things in life. If you want to learn, you can learn from whatever you do. You can learn from Bharatanatyam dance, you can learn from climbing mountains, you can learn from a housewife, you can learn from whatever. But what I have learned from sports specifically, because that's the only thing I've ever been part of, is that nobody ever has good times following good. Even the mighty Tendulkar, I remember going on air once and saying, look at the emperor walking the streets like a common man, because he was struggling. He had to struggle through that phase because he knew there was a good phase round the corner. And if he didn't struggle through this phase, he wouldn't be around when the good times came. So a lot of times Test cricket tells you that you must ride these phases. You have no choice. You must ride these phases. You must give it all you've got. You must be humble about it, because very, very few of us, as I said, have only good things coming our way. But we need to accept that these things will happen in life. And we've got it. Look, it's easy for me to say that. I'm luckier than most in the situation that I'm in. So it's very easy to say. There must be a lot of people out there saying, yeah, it's very easy for him to say. This is a time when it's easy to say and very difficult to do. These are difficult times. But we have to accept that these things will happen. You might be a college student. You might be thinking, when's my exam going to start? When are my entrance exams going to start? What's going to happen to me? Am I going to lose my job? Where's my EMIs going to come? My EMIs might wait for a month or 2 months, but the EMIs will come back. So what do I do? And I don't know if it will change the way people think, because I'm a bit of a fossil for this generation now. But we learned to live within our means because we didn't have a choice. Not that we were these very nice people who knew exactly how to live life. No, we had no choice but to live within our means. And I think that stage will come again when people will say, look, there's too much uncertainty. I feel sorry for this generation. In a sense, they have a lot of opportunity, but way too much uncertainty. I think slowly they will get a little conservative. That's my gut feel. But you have to ride these times. You have to show tenacity. You know, one of the things that great test match batsmen have, other than great skill and aggression, is tenacity, is resilience, is the ability to ride those hard times. I think tenacity and resilience, if these two words grow in society after this, we'll be better off.
So, right now, a lot of us, like you said, are receiving bad news. I mean, it's a difficult phase. We're separated from family. We're separated from friends. Several people living alone, um, or several people living in situations which are not exactly comforting. And we're receiving bad news. Or the month of May is when a lot of offices have disseminated bad news and told people, hey, you know what, you'll have to take a pay cut or go on leave without pay, or uh, some people have just lost jobs, or they know that it's coming.
Many have, yeah, many will.
And we know this is not the end. There's going to be more of this. So how, it's one thing to say, okay, we have to ride this out, but where do we find that strength?
Where I think within all of us, I'm a great fan of the family, in that I've always believed that is the team that you play for, that when the going gets tough, the family is the only one that rallies around. You might have a job, you might not have a job, but it's the families that rally around. And one of the great strengths of our culture is that we still have a very strong family system, that people are always there for each other. And I think as the going gets tough, I think you'll find that the families will rally around each other. That is why my heart really, really goes out to people who've come to Mumbai. Mumbai is the city of dreams, right? You come to Mumbai and make a living. But most of the time you've come here, you're working your backside off and you're sending money to people in the villages they're from. My heart goes out to them, because first, they have to survive. And second, how are they going to send money back to the family where everyone depends on them, where they've come to this city that never sleeps and a city where no one goes hungry, when they are now struggling? So these are very, very, very difficult times.
Of the sort of analogies that you draw between sports and life, I remember you have picked up this idea, and I've heard you talk about it in the past, that the fact that some of the greatest batsmen in the world realize when they're facing an opponent who's in better form, or who's bowling better at this point, and then you accept your shortcomings and you sort of just say, you know what, I'm going to keep my head down, I'm going to last this out. Is that the kind of philosophy we should be applying to this phase as well?
The best players in the world, the Tendulkars, the Dravids, the Kohlis, the best players in the world become great because they respect the ball that's coming at them. And they respect the fact that there are phases in life when the bowler is better than you, when the bowler is better placed than you, and the bowler's got the upper hand. And that is why I talked about riding those moments. These people are clever enough to know that this is not my turf at the moment. This is somebody else's moment. But because it is somebody else's moment, I won't get out. I'll hang in. If it means taking a blow on my shoulder, I'll take that. If it means looking ugly, I'll take that. That's why in sport we often say, how good are you when the going is bad? How good are you when you're not playing well? When you're playing well, everybody's good. Everybody looks great. There's a great backhand down the line going when you're in form. How good are you when you're not playing well? How good are you when the conditions are against you? So these great players will say, at the moment, I acknowledge you're in a superior position. You're better than me at the moment, but I'm not going to get out. I'll ride this moment. I'll fight it out. I'll survive. And then when you go away and some other bowler comes on, right, that's when I'll cash it. So who knows when this time goes? So my advice to a lot of students, to a lot of people will be, use this opportunity to acquire a skill. There's online courses, there's reading to be done. Whatever time you get, acquire a skill. Try and emerge stronger from this. It's very tough to emerge stronger from this. But whatever you can to emerge stronger, try and do that, so that there's something positive, there's something to look forward to. Because, as they say, to lose hope is to lose the battle. So you've got to keep hope alive, and hope is the strongest weapon you have in a contest. So, but Faye, at all times, and I'm telling you this, I'm racked with a certain fear that I'm saying this because I'm still in a position to be able to say that, and not everyone is in that position. So pardon me if you think, look, this guy's sitting from a good position and telling people what to do, but that's been my approach. Yeah, when the going gets tough, just try and get better.
No, but I've found that specifically to do with the lockdown, everyone's going through some form of difficulty. I mean, some of us some of us who work as freelancers have not had any work, for example, for the last 40 days because your industries are just not functioning. So now you have to figure out how long this is going to go on for and how long you're going to make your money stretch for, how you pay your rent. For people who are doing well, who have homes, who have savings, who don't have to worry about that, just being cut off from everybody else has been stressful. And, there are different ranges. So any sort of advice, any sort of, direction that we receive right now is helping somebody somewhere. I'm
But
really
we are stronger than we think we are. And we discover our strength only when we are pushed in a corner. When the going is tough, we don't know how good we are. It's when the going gets tough that we discover how much we have within us. And I think this will test all of us. And I think for a lot of us, I hope with a lot of us, that it will tell us what we are capable of. If there's no money in the bank and you've got something to spend tomorrow, you're in really dire straits. But for a lot of people, students who live, you might be in a 1 BHK, you might be in a small house, but try and do what you can to become better. And you'll be surprised at how much lies within you. And I have in my career, and it's not a great parallel, again, I'll tell you, because it's it's an easy parallel. But every time the going got tough, I said, can I do this? And I said, oops, I can. And I never knew I could. So that's why I keep saying that we have to keep hope up, because to lose hope is to lose the battle. So let's try something new, but we will find out how strong we are, because these are very, very tough times. As someone told me, we're in a Chakravyu. We've gone in, and now we don't know how it's going to be when we come out. So I only hope that, and I know that's not great news for marketing advertising people, which is where I draw a lot of my roots from, but I think people will start living within their means. As I said earlier, we had no choice. If we earned 100, we had no choice but to live within 100, let alone that. We had no choice but to live within 80. Yeah. And it was by saving the 10, 15 that we started to save money. So maybe people will go back and say, you know what, all those fancy EMIs that I got, all those fancy stuff, do I need it? First, let me live within my means. Let me save. Let me be ready for tomorrow. Let me put that away. But that's the conservative in me. I'm a conservative person. That's a conservative in me speaking. I mean, I've got grown-up men at home, children, but they're men, and they come on, you don't have to live like that. But it is like that. So I think it'll drive us all towards conservatism a little bit, and that's not such a bad thing, living within your means.
In fact, I just want to put this out there. So there are a lot of young people who've been writing to me saying, where should we invest the money? Should we put the money in the stock market, this or that? You're facing a false sense of liquidity right now. You feel like you have money in your bank account because you haven't gone out for 40 days. You haven't gotten like 300 rupee coffee, and you've not watched expensive movies, and you haven't gone out for a drink. That's why there's money in your account. It is not real. And this will not be the feeling when things open up. So save that money. Don't touch it.
For a start, if you have money in your account, you've done well in the past, say, thank you, I've got money in my account. There are some people who don't. And sometimes we feel very angry at what's happening around us. We feel insecure, and it's a very normal feeling. I've been through periods of great insecurity myself. Nothing like what people are going through now, I must admit, but I've gone through that as well. And I find that when I'm feeling low, when I'm feeling down, I just look outside my window. And there's always somebody there. You look at them and say, what the hell am I complaining about? And I think when we get to that situation, we think the world is against us and everything is wrong. Just discover there's someone worse off. There's someone who's to earn enough for himself and to send to his family back in the village, who's now suddenly got nothing and is dependent on someone giving him a meal, for example. And how's he feeling? I mean, I know that's point of view you hold as well. So there's always someone. Just look at them and say, you know what, it could have been worse. Now, the younger generation, every time I tell them this, they say, but why should we look down? Why can't we look up? Why are we always saying things could be worse? Why can't we look and say, why can't things be better? They can in good times. These are not good times. These are times to say, I'm blessed with what I have. Let me not complain. You just got to be hopeful, strong, tough. I think families are very good with that. If you're a grandmother, even better.
Well, I know that you are doing your bit as well, and I understand that you've partnered with other people to sort of use your popularity and your star power to source PPE suits, or the personal protection suits, for our doctors and our nurses, because these are the people we need to protect right now. we're safe in our homes, and that's a great thing. But we have to make sure that those at our front lines, the doctors and the nurses, have as many suits as possible. And here's the thing that the audience might not know. These are disposable suits. So once they wear them, they're supposed to take it off and throw it away. So we need to keep supplying these to our doctors in order to continuously keep them safe. And I understand, Harsha, that you're doing something to that end as well. Would you be able to tell our audience what it is?
Yeah, I'll tell you what the initiative. I'm not very good at telling people what I do, because typically if you do something, you should just do it and not have to go and advertise it to the world. But I think that the doctors and the medical staff are on the front line. When you go to a hospital, you shouldn't have to go to a hospital too often if you're lucky. You shouldn't have to, but when you go there, you are in effect surrendering your life and everything you know to that doctor there, and you hardly know. But if that doctor gets sick, suppose you transmit what you have to the doctor, then the doctor is surrounded by other people. The hospital has to shut down. We're in a situation now where 12 to 15 hospitals are down. They don't have enough people to accept non-COVID patients, for example. And so the doctors are at the front line of protecting people. And so we have to ensure, unless the doctors are well off, the patients are not well off. And that's why I like this scheme that was offered to me by Atul and Manish and all the others, saying let's try and source PPEs. They just cost 650 rupees each.
Yes,
it's the complete kit. That's a laminated kit with a 3-ply mask, the nitrile gloves, the goggles, all that. It costs 650 rupees. And if you donate one kit, that's 650 rupees. There's one doctor who's wearing it. And what I liked was that it's all transparent. It's all open. Atul Kasbekar, a friend of mine, he got in touch with me and told me about this. And you can go to tring.co.in. www.tring.co.in is the source. And there's a few people who've made appeals. Some have made them far better than I do. If Vidya Balan makes an appeal, you want to see what Vidya Balan says, right? So it doesn't matter who's made the appeal. Just go there and put whatever you can. I don't think anyone's forcing people to say, you know what, put 100. But if you do, then as I said, in my case, I'm happy to post a message saying thank you very much, or call you up and say thank you very much. But it's very important that we source these PPEs, and luckily there's enough people making them. And once you go there, you'll also know where your PPEs have gone. Today, there's a whole lot that's gone to Kasturba Hospital. There might be a hospital in Aizawl that needs it. There might be a hospital in Bulandshahr that needs it, especially in the smaller towns where the facilities may not be great. And I think it's a good idea to send out these kids. The doctors are good, then you've got a chance of being good.
Right. So I'm going to actually put the details also at the bottom of this video when it goes up on IGTV and Facebook. We're going to put that up. It's www.tring.co.in. So when you go to the website, you will see all of the people who are supporting this cause right now. There's Atul Kasbekar, there's Rakshi Sinha, Vidya Balan, Harsha Bhogle. Click on whoever you want.
I like it when you take that name with the other two, doesn't it?
click on the profile that you want to partner with, and it's 650 rupees for one suit. So that's the whole thing, and all of the information's on the website. And you can donate as many suits as you want. One, you can do 600 bucks, or you can just go into multiples of that. And then, the higher you go, you'll get a phone call from one of these guys. You'll get a thank you or a shout out. It's all listed out on the website. You can
what I would say though, Faye, is we're quite happy to do that, but I don't want to put pressure on people. If you donate a certain number of kits, yes, somebody will call you and say thank you very much. Somebody will put out a message. I mean, Vidya Balan saying, hi Rajesh, thank you very much for doing that. It's a hi. But if 2 is what you can afford, it's okay. Do 2. If 3 is what you can afford, do 3. You're still helping. Sometimes some of us think, I've only got so much, how can I help? That's nonsense. If you can afford 1, afford 1. There's no big deal.
So do as much as you can. And the best part about this is that the information is all available on the website. You know where the kit is going. Each of these individuals has chosen where they want to route the proceeds. So Vidya Balan, for example, is sending it to Kasturba Hospital in Mumbai. But each of them are picking different places that they want these kits to go to. And it's fundamentally, it's fairly focused. It's going to doctors and nurses in hospitals.
Yes. I'm glad you said nurses too, because sometimes we just say doctor. The nurses do a sterling job in this. I'm very happy you said nurses too, yes.
So doctors and nurses, and that's what we're doing. A couple of questions that have come in for Harsha Bhogle on this. Someone said, what are you reading right now? Would you be able to share with us what you're reading right now?
I tend to read a lot of social media and take links from there. So there isn't one thing I read. I'll get a link to a cricket article somewhere. I'll go and read that. I'll get a link to something that, say, France or Germany is doing for COVID. I'll go and read that. Someone's coming out with a new cure. I might be skeptical about it, but I'll still read that. At the moment, I'm writing more than I'm reading, which is something I should have done much earlier. I'll let you know. I don't know. When I'm ready to tell, I'll tell.
Is it long form or short form? Sorry, now you've woken up the journalist.
Long. And you know what happens, Faye? You get so used to short form that you suddenly realize, can I write long form anymore? So we started off, all of us started off writing 1,500, 1,800 words, 2,000 words sometimes, 1,500, 1,800. It came down to 800 to 1,200. It came down to 300. It got edited to 180. It came down to 140 characters.
Yes.
So suddenly you say, we've got so used to being crisp that being descriptive takes time getting used to again. But if you want to be in the media profession, then you've got to be able to do everything. You can't say, I do 300 words. No, that's for surgeons who say, I do knees, I do hearts. A journalist can't say that.
You know, I was listening to one of your talks, and I believe this as well, because audiences in India don't pay for their television service, and then television takes money from advertising. It compromises the content. You did talk about the fact that the best parts of cricket happen in between the overs. That's the part you want to be able to see, right? You want to be able to overhear the conversation between the players on the field. And a lot of that descriptiveness has been cut down because there's been an attempt to make that commercial content efficient and tight, and you cut into break as often as you can. Has that sort of taken away from the luxury of being able to describe something, to use as many words as are available in the vocabulary?
That's why I love doing radio from time to time. In radio, you've got the time to create pictures. You're just drawing lines on television sometimes. There you're creating pictures, but you've got to adapt to the needs of every medium. When I go to Australia, for example, they have a subscription-driven model for their television, so they don't take commercial breaks. So you've got all the time between the breaks. And during the first game I did there, I said, okay, I've got to talk here as well. Whereas our medium, because our cricket is available at such a low cost, all sport is available at such a low cost, it has to be commercial driven. And so we keep jumping, we keep going to breaks, all the time. So yeah, but I like the point you said about things that happen between overs. I also believe that people should, as far as possible, watch long form cricket as well. And they'll realize, or watch the game itself. When you watch the highlights, you see all the drama, right? You see it's like watching a trailer of a movie. It gives you an idea, but the story lies in between. So sometimes we see highlights in life, but what we achieve in life is what happens between the highlights.
And has the shorter format of the game sort of punched out a lot of those, the breathing moments, the emotional moments, the interesting moments of cricket? I mean, there used to be longer water breaks. There used to be longer tea breaks in cricket. There aren't anymore. It's all really tight. You get penalized for wasting time. So, there's this whole attempt to sort of shrink it down. Is that taking away some of that charm?
It is, no, but you've got to move with the times too. I love the long form cricket, but I love the short form cricket as well, because different generations have different needs. I mean, how many people today would read Charles Dickens? I remember reading as a text, we had Thomas Hardy's Far from the Madding Crowd at school.
Yes.
The first 4 or 5 paragraphs at the start of every chapter were about the meadow and the wind rustling between the leaves and the bird going somewhere and the cow mooing in the distance. Yeah, but today people say, okay, cut to the plot, right? So you've got to adapt to that as well. And I think this is a great time to be in the media, because you've got to be multimedia, you've got to be multilingual, you've got to be multi-time, if there's, for want of a better word. So it's a good time to be in the media. We have to adapt. Everybody has to adapt. It's like life. We have to adapt.
That's a beautiful analogy, because I study literature, and the reason why Charles Dickens would describe like that is because he wrote at the time that the trains came into England. and people were taking really long train journeys, and they were reading this material on the train. They had nothing else to do. There was no other form of entertainment. This was Netflix for them. And they would read it in chapters that were released in pamphlets, in
Yes.
periodicals. So every month one chapter would come out, or every month they would get one piece. So they would, like, it was savored and read slowly over a long journey.
I was also told, I don't know how true it is, that people like Thomas Hardy were paid by the word. So if the description of the meadow took 100 words, then they got paid a little more than if the description took 60 words. But I don't know how true I don't know how true that is. But we were fortunate in that we were able to study that kind of literature.
Yes.
But I see some of the education, some of the syllabuses that young people have these days, they're studying much better than we did. This generation is far more knowledgeable. They understand so much more than we did. It's a great generation. And that's why I keep talking about hope. That is why we must keep this generation hopeful. This generation is tomorrow, not me. You and this generation is. So we've got to keep this generation full of hope and positivity and positive.
So one more question, which I thought was really nice. Someone asked, "How are you always such a gentleman?" And I want to stretch that question, if I may, because I want to pull out some advice from it. So there's something to be said about keeping an even tone and keeping an even temper and keeping grace in every situation. How do you do that?
I don't know. It's a question you should ask yourself, Faye, because you've gone into people's houses and your programs were far more forthright and more aggressive than anything I did. So your job was, if anything, more difficult than mine. But I think sport has such a big role in society. Sport brings happiness. Live sport has all the tension and the drama, but in the end, it's only a game. The job of the game is leave people with a good thought, and we are just storytellers of what's happening out in the middle. So it's beholden on us to carry the goodness of sport into people's houses. So it's not difficult. It's not that you're being very virtuous or something. You're just carrying the message of sport, which increasingly, as the world gets fragmented, religion is fragmenting people, beliefs are fragmenting people, nationalities are fragmenting people. Sport can still bring people together. Through differences, it brings people together.
You did say, of course, when the ball leaves the hand, it does not know caste, it does not know religion, it does not know race. It just knows.
How many other things can we say that about in the world today? It doesn't matter. The ball leaving the bowler's hand might come from a family that struggled to put 2 square meals together, and it might go towards someone who's the son of a major industrial empire. But it doesn't matter. It's my skill with the ball and your skill with the bat. That's a great thing about sport. Someone's taking a penalty, or someone's dribbling past three players. It doesn't matter. Sport is so egalitarian. It may be less egalitarian in the opportunities it affords to you at a young age, but if you're hungry and you fight your way through it, sport is very, very egalitarian. And I love that side to sport. It doesn't matter where you came from. Mohammad Shami comes from Moradabad, where he came to a very difficult upbringing in Moradabad. Virat Kohli came from Delhi. Shami is bowling to Kohli. It doesn't matter. It's just my ball, your bat. That's it.
You play cricket in Hyderabad, and there are a lot of people on this conversation are popping up from Hyderabad and saying hello. I lived in Hyderabad.
Must be some from Bangalore. Aren't you from Bangalore?
I'm from Bangalore, but I was a reporter in Hyderabad for a couple of years as well. So I love.
Oh, you were lucky then.
Love Hyderabad, best city. But you've talked about how you came into cricket, and a lot of people, questioned your presence there, but you stuck it out, and it was important. You believed that this is what you wanted to do, and you stuck it out. So is that idea that, my skill will speak louder than my race, my gender, my caste, my religion, I should just stick it out? Is that advice you'd give to young people?
I had no choice. I had no choice. I had no choice but to survive. So I couldn't say, if that happens, I'll do it, otherwise I won't. I didn't have the choice. So I had to survive. And when you have to survive, you say yes to everything, and then you never know what happens when you say yes. So I had no choice. It's not that there's a lot of drama around what I did, and this is what I did, and no, I often didn't have any choices. And sometimes it's good not to have choices. Sometimes when you have too many choices, you start to wonder, do I do this or do I do that? And I mean, it's always good to have a choice in life, but sometimes if you don't have a choice, then you just make the most of what you have. Some of us, when we were growing up, we didn't have choices. the options open to you was so rare. If you made it as a probationary officer in a nationalized bank, people looked at you differently, you know. Though that was how many choices you had. So sometimes it's good not to have choices, but you just make the best of whatever cards that are thrown your way. And that is what sport teaches you, that these are the conditions I'm playing in. This track is turning. I can't go out to bat and say, you know what, I don't like turning tracks, dude, just change the pitch. No, this track is turning. And they have 3 spinners and the track is turning. What do I do now? I can't complain that they have 3 spinners. You just say, okay, these are the givens in life. This track is turning. There's 4 fielders around the bat. One ball will go low, one ball will jump up, one ball will turn, one ball will go straight. There's nothing I can do about all that. Now, what is the best I can do given everything that's come my way? And I think that's the situation we are in at the moment as well, that we're not able to define what we want, but we've just got to say that this is what is coming my way. I have no choice. So now what is the best that I can do with it?
All right, so I give you,
that's the worst thing. I was not sounding preachy.
No,
you know, when you get to a certain age, you start
no.
becoming preachy when you get to a certain age.
No. See, this is the whole point of Instagram. You can see these little like hearts bubble up at the corner. This is how much people love you. Look, you can see them.
It's your show, isn't it?
That's all love. It's all love for you. But I'm going to give you choices. Now you pick. All right, you ready? T20 or Test cricket?
Both. And Both. It's not a cop-out. It's not a cop-out because you like different things about different sport. Okay. I like the extraordinary energy and the decisiveness in a short while that the T20 players bring to their craft. It's not easy. It's a different skill. And I love the tenacity, the long innings, the denial that Test cricket affords. So different skills. It's very easy to say, I love Test cricket and I love both.
Okay, so Lords or Eden Gardens?
Oh, Eden Gardens. Lords is a better kept ground. Lords is a better kept ground. It's very proper, very correct. Everything is right. And to be fair, over the last few years, they've made an attempt to actually like the people who come there, which they didn't always do that. Eden Gardens is vibrant and lively, but then Eden Gardens also criticized India at one point. So yeah, but overall Eden Gardens. Yeah.
Eden Gardens has that charm to it. All right, here's the really difficult one, right? Hyderabad or Mumbai?
Hyderabad to grow up, Mumbai to work in.
Good answer.
Well, traveling? But Hyderabad I grew up in doesn't exist anymore, so I don't know.
No, it's still there.
Yeah.
No, but Hyderabad
is to grow up, Mumbai to work.
So what's your favorite thing about Hyderabad? What do you still do when you go home?
Well, now when I go, I look at all the places and say, but this isn't there, that isn't there. Oh, that isn't there. That's gone. Oh, okay. Oh shit, that's gone too. And then I ask my friend, "Arey, chalo na wahan jayenge अपन लोग." Then they laugh at me and say, "Kab ka band ho gaya?" So now Hyderabad is friends and cousins, and you can't hang on to the past. It's a lovely past, but you can't hang on to it. And now it's Mumbai. I mean, whatever I did in life, I did because of the discipline and work ethic that existed in Mumbai. I learned a lot in Hyderabad, but I did what I could because of Mumbai.
Okay, so traveling the world or staying at home?
Both. See, I'll tell you what happens. When you're stuck at, everyone says, wow, travel the world. It's great traveling the world. But you do get up in the middle of the night in a hotel room and you don't know where you are. It's happened to me. You don't know where you are. You don't know. I actually once I opened my little diary and said, what date is it today? So I must be in this city today. But it takes a toll on family, on relationships. So I think a little bit is great. Too much is like overstaying away from.
So outside of the cricket fields and the stadiums, which is your favorite city to visit?
London on a good summer day. On a good summer day, London with the long nights. As a country, Australia. But I've been to cricket playing countries. I've not traveled a lot elsewhere. Just a couple of times for short durations to the US and little holidays here and there. So I know the cricket countries more than I do. But I like going in summer. I love the long days.
Right,
it's 8:30 at night. It's 8:30 at night and it's bright outside. I don't like dusk. I don't like dusk. I like the brightness.
And those long shadows that they have forever. Last question. Would you prefer reading or writing?
Writing. I mean, I like reading, but there's a buzz about writing. You're a performer when you write. You're writing. I mean, I'd hate to write something that no one ever read. But yeah, writing rather than reading.
I have a feeling there's a book coming.
I don't know if I have that feeling. It's a lot of hard work writing a book. I think people should write books when they're younger. It gets increasingly tougher as you get older to have the discipline to put all that together. But maybe, let's see.
Blink twice. All right. Harsha Bhogle, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening. Remember,
so was this the same Faye D'Souza that I have seen making people go weak in the legs and thinking I shouldn't have come on a show because she's aggressive and asks all the difficult questions? You were excellent. You were nice.
Thank you, thank you. It's the same person. It's different times, and different times cost. So quite honestly, I'm looking at now using information and advice to help people. I believe that you need to have enough information to be informed, responsible, active citizens. And that's our biggest responsibility as Indians, right? Our biggest responsibility. We have fundamental rights and we have fundamental duties. And one of the fundamental duties in our constitution lists out that we work to become better as human beings, and by our self-improvement, we improve society and thereby the country. And I believe that there's a responsibility there for us as media to provide correct and valid information that makes us better human beings. So all of this.
What I would beseech people is, don't judge people by how many people you help. If you can help 100, that's great. You go and help 100. If you can help 1,000, that's great. Help 1,000. If you can help 2, help 2. It doesn't make you a smaller person because you helped 2 and someone else helped 100. If I can help 2, I'll help 2. But I've helped 2, So, let's not measure people by how many they've helped and by how much they've contributed.
Yes. In fact, one of the psychologists I was talking to said very beautifully that apparently the difference between human beings, one of the differences between human beings and animals, is that when we do random acts of kindness, expecting nothing in return, it apparently pumps the good stuff into your brain. It makes you feel good. And it's one of the ways that you can automatically easily feel better. So if you're feeling down and you're feeling lonely and you do something nice for somebody else, and it can be anything, like, I don't know, order ice cream and give it to your building car watchman, and he'll smile and you will smile and you just feel better. So doing nice things is a great way to just feel better. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as you make someone else feel good and you'll also feel good. So it's psychological.
Yes. Good talking to you, Faye. Good talking to you.
It was awesome to speak with you as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And remember, guys, one more time, it's www.tring.co.in. Find it on the internet. I'll put it at the bottom of this video. Do whatever you can. Take care of yourselves. Stay at home. Stay safe. Stay happy. Good night.